All right, welcome to episode number 34 of the Oklahoma Weather Show. Here we are, September 10th. Temperatures yesterday, mid-90s, cold front coming in today. I think the big weather story that we have ongoing this week will be the fact that we're going to go from near record highs yesterday to getting down to just a few degrees away from tying a record low later this week. Brad and I, we were just talking on here before we started this show about skiing and snow and what's been happening. I wanted to actually share this picture real quick. Jonathan, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but this is from Calgary, and doing a screen share here. Actually, I mean, this is this morning. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's in Calgary this morning, which Calgary is set up a lot like Denver. It's in the plains. Mountains are just to the west. But look how heavy that snow is. I mean, look at those trees. Does that get you in the mood for skiing? Anybody? Anybody? Who wants to go skiing?
Jonathan, do you do any winter sports?
Oh, yeah. Hardcore downhill skier. Used to go to Colorado every spring break. We usually go to the summit, stay in Breck, ski Vail, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, A Basin, Copper Mountain. But then I had a kid, and then I got married, and we had a kid, and so much for downhill skiing. I think when the boys are old enough, we'll get back into it, but not right now.
You want to talk about, Jonathan, you mentioned Park City, and I got to share this story right here. I don't know, Brad, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but basically Park City had a pretty big snafu a couple earlier this year. So this is what happened. Let me share this. It says Park City Mountain Resort to pay $17.5 million to open this season. So what had happened is the lease that Park City owns on their ski mountain ran up, and I guess whoever was in charge of the books and making sure that they always had a valid lease just wasn't paying attention, and Vail went in and scooped up Park City, everything except the base and the parking lot. So there was this big conundrum going on, wondering whether or not Park City was going to open this year, because Park City said, whoa, 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 that's our mountain, and the judge basically said, well, technically it was an open lease. Vail came in and bought it. You know, they have every right to run the resort this year. So there's been
I was under the impression that Vail. No, wait a minute. Vail owns another Utah mountain, Vail Resorts. What's that?
Vail owns Beaver Creek.
They own Beaver Creek, Keystone, Breck, in Colorado, and then they had another big mountain.
They picked up the canyons. It's right next. It used to be Park West. It's right next to Park City. Because Deer Valley is privately owned.
So that fee was that like a land lease fee, National Park Service or Forest Service lease?
Basically, yeah, it was their lease on the land, and I don't know how long the lease had lasted. It had lasted for a couple, maybe a decade or two. I don't have the exact.
Common on a lot of the resorts in the Intermountain West. They have the Forest Service lease, and any expansion projects they have to get approval through the Forest Service in order to grow the resort. And there's a lot of red tape at times because so many mountain habitats. I know there's always a talk about the lynx, the lynx species that's endangered, and some natural habitats around Vail Mountain. Vail's had a lot of issues in years past with the Forest Service leases. There was one point where a couple environmental groups, kind of the extreme environmental groups, damaged and burned down the park headquarters on top of Vail Mountain.
Yeah, they had those eco-terrorists that went out there. Yeah, I remember. It was the Three Elks Lodge up in Vail that they burnt down, and then Vail basically came back and said, burned it down, we're going to build an even bigger restaurant. I mean, that restaurant is huge up there, but yeah, and that was during their whole expanding out the Blue Sky Basin. You know, you get out the Blue Sky Basin, and it takes a long time. I think it took me about 2 hours once just to get back to the base. You know, Vail's definitely the Disney World of ski resorts. I mean, a lot of these ski resorts that they built back in the past usually had some type of mining influence. The city built, you know, some type of lift to get up to the mountain so they could get or whatever they could mine, and then they turned it into a ski resort. But Vail just popped up out of the middle of nowhere. I mean, there was nothing at Vail, and they just said, we're going to build this mammoth ski resort. Vail is definitely, you know, the mecca, I guess you could say, of ski resorts in Colorado. I mean, it is huge. Brad, have you skied it?
I have, I've done Vail. Some good snow there. I've only skied it one time before they had to cut the mountain down due to wind. So lots of fresh tracks to be made. It was deep snow, and of course for skiers, fresh snow, powder hounds, get out there early and tear the mountain up, first tracks, if you will. But it's amazing, even a mountain that big can get all tracked up in 30 minutes to an hour. There's ski tracks everywhere, and then it becomes kind of difficult because it's quite hard to make your turns. But yeah, it's snowing up in Colorado this morning too. We were just looking at some pictures, Damon, of Arapahoe Basin. It's getting snow this morning.
Basin getting some snow. I'm trying to find some pictures actually.
Rocky Mountain National Park had snow. The top of Pikes Peak had snow. I mean, the snow level 12,000 feet. It looked like mainly above tree line, but it's coming. I guess our cold front's passing through now, so we're cooling down, looking a little bit better.
Yeah. What's you spent a lot of time out in Colorado. I mean, what are the it's normal to see some snow up, you know, above 12,000 feet this time of year, right?
Sure. You know, first snow is usually late August, early September. Nothing too unusual. Your mountains don't start opening up until October to ski, and usually the first two mountains to try to compete to open in the United States are Arapahoe Basin or Loveland. They kind of have the countdown of who's going to open first. They're making snow later this month because they still have to make snow. You still have to have a base of 18 inches or so to cover up those rocks to make it safe to ski on. But they start opening up October and making snow later this month. So it's definitely not out of the normal.
Yeah, this is the picture that A Basin just put out on the on their Google Plus page. It's pretty high up there. I mean, how high are we talking about here at A Basin?
You know, the base of the mountain is about 11,000 feet. The summit where you can still ski is 13,000. That's the only mountain I've ever been on that kind of got the altitude sickness while skiing. I had to go lay down in the car.
Did you really?
Cover, yeah, because it takes a lot out of you.
I don't think I've ever had to deal with altitude sickness while skiing. I've had it at various other times when I've been hiking up there. I just saw this amazing picture. Where did it go? It just, my Google Plus page fills up so fast. I know a lot of people say who's doing Google Plus these days, but where was it? I just saw it. It was a picture coming in from. I'm gonna find it. It was coming in from Calgary, and it was looks like the roads out there were a mess, almost like they weren't even ready yet for the snow. Where did it go?
You know, I think what's most unusual is just how far south this cold front is going to push. I mean, not too unusual to get snow in the Dakotas and Minnesota this time of year, but to see the amount of cold air that's going to sweep down the plains over the next week and make it even into Oklahoma, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I show this picture, and we're only about 3 or 4 months away from probably getting something like this.
Where's that?
This is Calgary this morning, and they're in Canada. Apparently they haven't put on their snow tires yet. When I was up in Canada back in January, everyone had on their snow tires, and they're just these black hubcaps, black rim car tires on these cars. I mean, you can tell that they're not supposed to be on there all year.
Snow. Well, see, that stuff there is so much more difficult to drive in. Wet snow is very tough to drive in. That's all we get around here usually. The dry snow that they're probably accustomed to, not this time of year, obviously, it offers a lot more traction.
Yeah. And this car in front of this person right here that we're looking at, they're doing one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to snow. Not clearing it off. How can you not clear? I mean, how are you supposed to look out your back window when it looks like that?
Falling off the roof, maybe.
Maybe. So, hey, Jonathan, where's this front now? What's the temperature behind you at the station?
I don't know.
Look at the
I know it
weather.
went through. I saw the fine line on our live radar, so you can see the fine line, which is the wind shift line on radar. So let me zoom in on Advantage Doppler HD, and it just went through Tinker Air Force Base in Newcastle. So Hera to Tinker to Southmore to Newcastle. I don't know if this. It's 83 here at the station.
Okay. Front cam. Yesterday you and I were talking about what what time would this front come in, and we said that more than likely it was, usually comes in a little bit faster than the models tend to pick up on. So it looked like it did that, because I wasn't expecting it to come in till about 12. I guess it got in, 11?
Yeah, we hit 88 at Will Rogers, and it dropped to 85, so we may not hit that 90.
Hey, any of you all seen this? This seems to have been a popular link this past week. Let me put it up. Brad, how many, did you have to answer any emails with respect to this?
No, but honestly, at first I thought this might be a real forecast from somebody. And, it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody, because we've seen these before, people come out with these forecasts and make these astronomical predictions. But once I got reading through it, I realized, okay, there's no way this is real.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Who generated it? Where'd it come from?
EmpireNews.net, the same website that announced that Betty White dyed her hair. Notice how they spell the word dyed. And I remember last week, all of a sudden, my Twitter or my Facebook feed getting filled with Betty White died, but people weren't reading the article, and they weren't even looking at the correct, the spelling of the word died here. Take on reading this website is that, as a meteorologist, I kind of know certain things that, obviously not everyone else would know out there. Like they had mentioned in the article, the head of the meteorologist department. Well, I know there's no such thing as a national head of the meteorologist department, but that's just because we work in that field every day. People outside of the weather field probably wouldn't know that. But I saw this coming up, and then I started looking at it. Actually, let me put it back up here again. And it said below normal. Here it goes. Below normal rainfall for like South Texas, down near Brownsville and South Padre Island. And I'm thinking, well, they average 0 inches of snow every year. So how can you have below normal snowfall when you have 0 inches of snow a year? So little things started to kind of say, hey, this doesn't sound right. This website ain't right.
Well, they had me going at first because it says from Camp Springs, Maryland, which of course is the head of the National Weather Service.
Yeah, they had they wrote it in a way to generate shares, and we ended up doing a story on this the other day during the news, and basically the bottom line is, don't share something if you don't know the website. A lot of times people just start sharing everything, and next thing you know it, we spend more time trying to prove something that's not going to happen because someone has gone out and posted an article like that. So have trustworthy sites, kind of think of them, and that's a problem that, growing up, we didn't ever have like an internet teaching ethics class, like this is what you should share and this is what you shouldn't share, and so that'll probably be a new class coming up, I'm sure, in school.
Well, we all had to do the Farmer's Almanac story, it seems like, in the last couple of weeks. I know that someone came to me and said, all right, hey, we need to do a response to the Farmer's Almanac. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I don't know how they forecast, and I don't know how to do that. Talk about El Nino and its impacts on our weather, but to strictly go in and look at their forecast when, what does it say that they use? A proprietary forecast method, or what is there?
Yeah, they won't tell. They have some type of, and of course there's the Farmer's Almanac, and then there's the old Farmer's Almanac. But this right here, this is the Farmer's Almanac. When you have that many, let's see, what do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had the United States separated into 7 zones here. And so just because, to say that it's going to be brisk and wet, from New Mexico to Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. That's a pretty big area to forecast. And there's going to be some areas within that zone that probably won't be that wet. It'll probably dry, and then they'll say, oh, the Farmer's Almanac said that it was supposed to be, brisk and wet. So proving these things and going off of these things is pretty challenging. Here's what I think they did. I think they just took last year's weather pattern, which was basically a trough that started digging down from the Rocky Mountains, and it was just a very deep trough-like pattern that went from the Rockies to the Mid-Atlantic and down to the Southeast. And it's kind of like what they've almost kind of gone with that same type of pattern before. It's kind of one of those, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Well, we've been in a trophy weather pattern for the last couple months now. That probably the same thing's going to set up again.
And honestly, I think you're giving them way too much credit there.
Am I?
I think that is being really generous on saying that they looked at last year's pattern and compared it.
Okay, so here's my 2 cents. This is from their website. We derive our weather forecast from a secret formula that was devised by the founder of this almanac, Robert B. Thomas, in 1792. Let me insert face slap. So you're telling me you have a secret formula that was made in 1792 that's accurate? Okay, folks, if you're watching this, how far has forecasting accuracy improved in the last 10 years? Huge improvements, huge improvements. So they're basing their accuracy on something from 1792. We didn't even have satellite images. We didn't have radars. We didn't have a mesonet. We didn't have any of that. And they claim they can do a accurate global forecast or synoptic forecast, mesoscale, whatever. But honestly, folks, I mean, it's just money making. That's all it is. And obviously, they're still making money.
Well, here's the here you go. Here's the Climate Prediction Center. This is going to be their December, January, February outlook. This was made August 24th, 2014. Basically, what they're saying, too close to call for temperature-wise. Equal chances that we could be above normal, below normal. Basically, that's not. A lot of times people look at these maps and they think, oh, that means normal temperatures. No, it just means that we have equal chances of being above normal, below normal. There's not enough data coming in that's going to trigger an alarm that says, well, we're probably going to be below normal. An increased chance of above normal temperatures across Wyoming, northern Colorado, Montana, but this might be probably the better thing. I'm not too concerned about this map right here, the temperature map, as much as I like looking at the precipitation probability. We know going into the wintertime it can get real dry, and then fire season kicks up, and so the fact that we see above normal rainfall probability, that's pretty good. We're looking at a 40% chance of above normal rainfall or snowfall. Could go either way. Could go either way. I know kids right now probably just heard me say the word snow, and now they're jumping up and down, right?
Here's something, a little changing of gears here, kind of a current event that's coming out right now. Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah.
This just a few minutes ago, Detroit Public Schools in Detroit, Michigan, closing early today for a slight risk of severe storm. So all Detroit Public Schools dismissing 2 hours earlier. Slight risk out there today. Last I checked, well, a 2% tornado ring, was that?
Correct.
Okay. What do you guys comment on this?
That's a horrible idea. Horrible idea. I don't like it one bit, and I know they've discussed it here and doing it up here. Here's the thing: when kids are in schools, they have people paying attention to the weather. Kids go home, you know what? They're probably not going to be turning on the Weather Channel or turning on to their TV station and watching. They're going to be playing video games. They look at it as a snow day, a time that they can go out and have fun with their friends. I don't like taking kids out of the classroom, because even though, let's go back to more. Let's go back to May 20th here. There are 7 kids that passed away at at Plaza Towers, and while that was very sad, think of all the homes. I mean, you've been through the neighborhood there. Those homes were just demolished, and that school held up a lot better than a lot of those homes did in that neighborhood. And I think that the death toll would have been a lot higher had those kids been in their homes. I mean, as sad as it was that Plaza Towers happened, it would have been worse had those kids been at home. So I don't like that idea at all. Keep them in school.
You know, I noticed that the main risk wasn't even in Michigan today. It's farther south and east. And if you look kind of at the analysis for Detroit, what's the difference between now and letting them go later? It looks like the storms are already kind of firing up, right? I don't have the radar.
Yeah, there's going to be two waves, this initial wave and then another wave later, but I think Detroit's done. This morning convection is going to kill any instability.
So I guess you could say you're letting them go in the worst of the weather. When you could have kept them around and maybe they could have gone home when the storms weren't even happening. Kind of makes you wonder who made that decision and why.
Yeah, are they getting input from the National Weather Service, or are they just doing their own thing?
I don't know. I really don't know, but I don't like that. And Brad, that's the first I've heard about that, so I just pulled up WXYZ.
I'll give credit to Rick Smith on Facebook. He posted that just moments ago, and a lot of people, commenting in and agreeing with it. Okay, here we go. Yesterday, day 2 had a 45% probability in the Detroit area. So it sounds like maybe that decision could have been based on what they were seeing yesterday.
I don't like it. And not only that, but we already get enough of the, it must be nice to be wrong half the time and still keep your job. Predicting the severe weather and what it is, a lot of things have to come together. And so what you're doing now is by taking these kids home, if it doesn't turn out to be what is probably had the potential of becoming, you're just going to have a lot of parents saying, well, you know what, last time they told us there was supposed to be tornadoes and it didn't happen, so why should I pay attention this time? It's that whole boy that cries wolf thing. And so you only do those in the most rare circumstances, but still, that's just I don't like that idea of doing that, of taking those kids home.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. So, well, and see what happens. I was just surfing WXYZ. Obviously this is a big story up in Detroit.
Is that a real station?
XYZ, yeah.
WXYZ?
WXYZ. Call letters are interesting. When you think about why a TV station has call letters, KOCO, OCO stands for Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. When I was down in Abilene, we were KTXS, Texas and Abilene. And actually at one point, WFAA in Dallas offered us $1 million for the call letters. But call letters all have a general, a specific meaning to it. When I was in Asheville, North Carolina, I was working as a production assistant at WLOS, and LOS stands for Land of Sky, which is what Asheville's nickname was. So, Jonathan, what did IMT mean? KIMT?
K, because what is it there? So the WK determines whether you're east or west of the Mississippi, right? So K, you're west of the Mississippi. W, you're east of the Mississippi. The IMT stood for Iowa, Minnesota together, because they're a split market. They're half in Iowa, half in Minnesota, and so that's, or Iowa, Minnesota television, but I think it was Iowa, Minnesota together.
Brad, where were you? You were in Grand Junction. What did your all's call letter stand for?
Oh, okay. I was at KJCT, so K Junction. And then in Colorado Springs, I was at KOAA. Farthest thing I could tell there, it sounds like a campground. So
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really not sure what that one means.
I got to find a picture here. I went and visited Brad one time. in Colorado. I was hiking Oh, I was doing some just climbing a bunch of 14ers. What did I do with that picture?
I've got the picture on my Facebook, I think, actually.
Do you really? I'm trying to find it. I've got all these folders. Is it right here? I wonder if this is it right here. That was a busy week for me. I went all over the place. Yep, here it is. I found it. I thought I found it. Yep. Oh, I found some pictures of Brad. Here, we're gonna do a flashback. All right, you ready for this? Let me do a screen share. I took a bunch of pictures of Brad at work. All right. Brad, kind of walk us through. What are we looking at here?
Let's see, I've got black right now. Oh, all right. Yeah, that was my TV station in Colorado Springs and Pueblo area. Ironically enough, it was also a Channel 5 station.
Really?
And we were first alert weather there as well.
So you didn't have much branding problems going on. What's going on here?
No problems, really. Yeah, I forgot that you came there, man. And oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's clean, man. You had look at these little green buttons behind you on the wall. I thought that was
that's cool. See, we had all sources routed into those 4 buttons, so I could go from radar to Weather 1 to we had our weather bug system in there and a live video source. So yeah, you could switch all your sources on your own.
Your hair was short. Short hair, Brad. Yeah. Look up now, Brad. What's in your hand? I got you an energy shot that morning.
Our energy from Damon. By the way, Damon Lane is addicted to the 5-hour energy shots. He
I don't know why I took pictures of these, but apparently I was fascinated.
Damon takes pictures of everything, by the way.
I do. I liked your all's graphics here. I was checking out your graphics. You all were on Max before we were at here at KOCO.
Yeah, we had Max. Man, you did take a lot of pictures.
There's a town called Cripple Creek. Is that the song? Down in Cripple Creek, she sang me. If I sprang a leak, she'd leave me.
That I don't know.
Yeah,
I love her scream if I ever did see one.
From 3,300 feet to, 14,000, but you didn't forecast any higher than about Cripple Creek at 10,000 feet. So, always an interesting day.
Now, where are these people? Are they still down in the Spring or in Pueblo, or where'd they go?
Yeah, Adam is still there. Georgianne is at home with her children. She became a mom. And
okay, this is y'all's control room. I was just taking. Look, I took a picture of the buttons. I loved it.
Good, man.
AMS certified.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
That was a good days, man. I was on my way to Pikes Peak.
You know, I saw one the other day, Damon, that you took of me with a mountain goat. A mountain goat behind me.
There's a mountain goat?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. We were on Mount Evans. Remember going up to Mount Evans?
Oh, yes, Mount Evans. Yes, Mount Evans. I also remember getting pulled over in Colorado Springs on my way up to Pikes Peak. That was good. How's the dog? I hear it barking in the back.
Can you hear him? He's in the house. I guess he gave up because I'm not letting him out.
We've been having to take our dog to obedience school. We discovered, because our dog has some fence aggression issues. It walks by a fence, and there's a big dog, and it wants to charge after the fence. So we're working really hard on that one. But the instructor told us not to let our dog go to the bathroom on the walks.
Really?
So that's difficult. Yes, that's marking the neighborhood. So now it can go to the bathroom like in our yard and in our backyard, but don't let it walk around the neighborhood lifting its leg and trying to mark the place up. So it's been tough. Hey, Jonathan, are you going to the fair today or no?
No, I'm not going today.
Okay.
They got someone else to go, but I'll go tomorrow.
Don't clog your arteries with all that fried food.
Hey, I've lost a lot of weight since I came to KOCO. I'm trying to keep it off, but I may cheat tomorrow.
How much have you lost?
I think 35 pounds.
Wow.
35.
Man.
And I don't really carry it. I mean, I usually carry it. The Condors carry it right here.
Hey, Damon, you took this picture. The big white mountain goat.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that. We went up to, we were at the AMS conference, and we skipped out one day. I remember it got cold up there. I remember we left Denver, it was like 95 degrees. And I remember we stopped on the side of the road because something in your engine was bubbling.
Yeah, I always drive a really nice vehicles. If it's got to be at least 10 or 15 years old before I'll drive it. Yeah, I think we were overheating a little bit. I mean, heck, you're going from 5,000 feet to 14,000. You've got to be able to pull it up the mountain.
I remember that. Oh man, I totally forgot about that conference. You know, we go to these weather conferences. I haven't been in a while. I need to get back. Yeah, here's a picture of Brad. Let me do a screen share. We just lost Brad, but this was Brad. We went up to Mount Evans. This was July 15th.
Still snow.
Still snow. Snow stayed up there. Yeah, this was July 15th. This was me and my old. I had my work polo on. Don't know what I was wearing.
You'll have to send me those photos. I don't have those.
You don't have those?
Mm-mm.
That looks like a good place to go skiing.
The cornice at the top, you could see that lip there. Go back to that last one.
Yeah.
That lip right at the very top is when the wind blows over the mountain, it'll develop these unstable cornices, and that's how a lot of avalanches occur, especially when it's melting. Those will just break right off and create kind of a wet slide, if you will, and that snow is so heavy and dense.
Really? We did I did Mount Evans again. There was more snow in this. Now we went up to Long's Peak this past year, and I've looked at a lot of first off, when we did Long's Peak, we actually had some icy spots. We started climbing Long's Peak really early in the morning. The goal when you go climbing through Colorado is to get off the mountain by noon when the thunderstorms start to pop up. And July 4th, there was still a good amount of snow on top of Long's Peak, and even the trough going up was still iced over. It was really, really treacherous, and even looking at a lot of reports on 14ers.com from this past year, people are still saying, like even in August, that it was still pretty dangerous, and I don't think Long's Peak ever became a dry hike all the way to the top this year. I think it stayed pretty. I think it stayed pretty nasty, which I guess that can happen. It got snow up there. What was that picture?
Oh, baby, I'm sitting outside here, and this cool front's coming through, and I can feel it dry.
Feel good? What's the temperature in your backyard?
Let me see here. Oops, that's not the right app. When I came out here, it was 82, and now I'm down to 79, so I've dropped 3 degrees since we started this shoot 35 minutes ago.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Not here yet. Not here.
Dew point's not dropping much, so I mean it's pretty muggy still behind us.
Well, big news. Jonathan, Brad, we're having my wife and I are having a child.
Good.
We're going to announce the sex of the child today at work, and then we'll do it on air. But let it this way.
Let's start with it right here. Give people a reason to tune into these.
Well, let's just put it this way. The doctor told us 4 weeks ago that it was going to be one thing, and then we found out yesterday we found out it was completely opposite of what the doctor thought. So we were definitely in for a little bit of a surprise.
I know where it is now. I know where we're going.
You know where we're going. Well, there are cupcakes that are going to be had and handed out across the station today that my wife made last night. So they will be the bite into the cupcake and find out the sex of the child.
No, wait. So how do you find out when you bite in? That's kind of creepy. I mean, what's in there?
Colored icing. It's either going to be blue colored icing or pink colored icing. So okay. We'll find out. Jonathan, I hope I don't ruin your diet, but I'm coming into work with cupcakes.
I think I got room for one cupcake.
Okay.
They started the day with waffles and shots.
Now, when I first saw that sign hanging up on the wall and it said waffles and shots, I was thinking that someone was bringing in tequila. It was not. I didn't know they meant flu shots. I was wondering what was going on
As
there.
exciting as the poster showed, but
Did you get your flu shot?
yeah, I got the flu shot. Didn't do the waffle, but it looked good.
I bet they were. I bet they were.
Yeah.
I have not done a flu shot ever. I haven't done one yet.
Pregnant women are supposed to get one. You might consider it since you got a pregnant wife now.
Yeah. Jonathan, your family's growing. Y'all getting flu shots?
Yeah. So my wife is 8 months along, and Mercy Hospital mandates that anybody that comes in the hospital has to have a flu shot if you're going to be in the delivery section. So I think like floor 6 at Mercy Hospital there. So I just got my flu shot today, so I'm good. A little sore.
Yeah. How does it work? I've never really looked at the science behind a flu shot. What exactly does it do?
I don't, dude. I just do what my wife tells me to do. She says get the flu shot.
They shove it into your skin.
So
Push.
the basic, they give you a very small amount of 4 of the flu strain that they think are going to go around this season, and your body attacks those and naturally builds up an immunity to those 4 strains. So it's kind of like preventative maintenance. They're basically giving you the flu, small portion. Your immune system goes, oh, flu, let's attack it. Boom, 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 builds up the immunities. So if you do get the flu virus, one of those 4, you have the natural ability to defend against it. And I don't know, I'm a meteorologist, not a doctor, Jim. So that's to my understanding. The problem, though, you can get the flu shot, and what happens if you get number 5? You only protected against 4, and you get a different strand. You could get the flu with the flu shot, but I don't know. I mean, I got the flu shot when I was in the National Guard. I would get the flu shot all the time. I was like, I had to. They told you to. And then I didn't get it for years, but I don't know. The years that I have gotten the flu shot, I've never gotten the flu.
That's good. Well, I guess it's doing its job then. Brad, you get the flu shot?
I did. Yeah, I did.
You get it every year?
Pretty much. Yeah. My wife got it one year. I got it. I encouraged her to get it. She got the flu, and I just sat back and watched how miserable she was. And I never got it. So I was like, "See, I told you." Yeah. As a husband, you always are looking forward to say those words.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll go and get the flu shot. I'll go get the flu shot. Hey, looking at some future episodes we have coming up here, Jonathan, you trying to say something?
No, see, Damon, I think you have to get the pertussis shot.
What is that?
That's for the whooping cough. You have to. It's tetanus and the whooping cough. It's called the pertussis shot. You'll have to get that before your lovely bride goes into labor. So
I hate needles.
Mental note. You got to get the pertussis. That's a huge deal. The whole whooping cough deal.
I don't like needles. I do not like needles. I am not.
Damon, they make the sprays, man. You know, you can get the flu spray in your nose. It just squirted up in there.
I don't think they have the pertussis injection up the nose. I think it's a big fat needle like this.
No. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will turn this show off if we start going on more needles.
Really? Are you afraid of needles? For real?
Needles.
Damon Lane, the guy, the stud, is scared of needles.
I am terrified of needles. I mean, put it this way: this past year, when I went to go do some blood work, just for my yearly checkup, I had to lay down on the bed on that that paper that they probably roll up subs in, but sandwiches. But I had to lay down, put the blanket over my head, and I had to tell the nurse, just have a conversation, just keep talking. Do not let me think about this needle going into my arm. I don't like needles.
Wow.
Yeah. There's your fun fact of the day that you didn't know about Damon Lane.
Well, what's it called when you have a fear of needles? Something phobia. What is it?
Fear of needle phobia. I don't know.
Needle phobia.
Well, hey, looking at some future shows coming up. I know at the end of this month, on the 24th, we have a lady from up in Wisconsin who is known on Twitter as the Goddess of Grain. She works for the ag community, and she's going to be talking a lot about what's going on in agriculture, not from an ag perspective, but talking to just those people that drive by farms every single day. You know, your people that don't work on a farm. So what's going on with them right now? How has the recent droughts in the last couple of years impacted what it is that we probably have on the dinner table every single night, whether it's vegetables or beef or whatever. So that's a good show. I'm looking forward to that. Jonathan, I know we were talking about some shows for next week. Going into October, we're going to have Brian Busby on. Brian Busby from Kansas City. He is kind of the main meteorologist up in Kansas City that's been there for a long time. We're going to talk about what it was like doing severe weather coverage back when he started back in the 70s, and how it has changed today and how it's going to change in the next 20 years when it comes to television and severe weather coverage. So we've got a couple good shows ahead of us. Anything else?
Yeah, the only reason why I tuned in today is you told me Ginger Z was going to be on here. What happened to that?
Danielle's been working hard to get Ginger, and I think that's coming in a couple weeks. Ginger's busy.
She's a busy girl. Yeah, she's all over the place.
She is busy. She's busy. Anything else y'all want to add?
I think we have a guest coming in with my guess. He built a tornado tank, and it's not the TIV, and it's not the other vehicle that drives around, but he built it with his own money from scratch, and he's right here in Oklahoma. So he's going to give us a tour of how he built it, why he built it, and there you go. Everything you want to know about a tornado tank.
Tornado tank. That sounds exciting. All right, Brad, Jonathan, anything else y'all want to add?
Oh, we're going to have an episode where we bring a doctor in who talks to Damon about trypanophobia, which is the fear of needles. Trypanophobia.